Toy Story is an amazing franchise that's touched generations with emotional stories. But have you ever wondered what happened to some toys that vanished and never came back? Lotso. Looks can be deceiving. And that's definitely the case with Lotso, a teddy bear who's anything but cuddly. When we first meet this fuzzy guy in Toy Story 3, he seems harmless. He runs Sunnyside Daycare like it's a 5-star resort for retired toys. Cute, welcoming, until he locks Buzz in isolation and turns the nursery into a war zone. Suddenly, this stuffed bear becomes General Lotso, leader of a full-on toy dictatorship. But why all the rage? Well, his owner abandoned him, replaced him with another Lotso, and instead of going to therapy, he chose to become a dictator. And the craziest part? Even after that intense scene at the incinerator, where the toys nearly get toasted, Lotso had a chance to redeem himself. All he had to do was press a button. But what does he do? He laughs and says, "Good luck." His reward? Getting strapped to the front of a garbage truck, like some weird ornament. Sun, rain, mud, bugs in his face, and he can't even move an arm. The only hug he's getting now is from a bumper. And the worst part? He's stuck there with other toys he probably can't stand. Emotional torture? Complete. That strawberry scent? Long gone. Replaced by the smell of recycling. At this point, he's either been tossed into the same incinerator he denied the others, or buried under tons of trash. Living out the most brutal ending Pixar has ever given a villain, throughout the franchise, plenty of characters captured our hearts, and then disappeared without a trace. So let's dive into this video and see where they went! Stinky Pete. One of the biggest examples is Stinky Pete, who showed up in Toy Story 2 acting all wise and fatherly. But as soon as he came out of the box, the Grandpa collectible revealed his dark side, one that didn't want to be played with, smudged, or drawn on with markers. His dream? To be admired behind glass in a museum, Mona Lisa style, but with a cowboy hat. Then comes Woody, with his hero complex and homesickness for Andy, trying to escape. And what does Pete do? He loses it. Big time. Turns into the Thanos of the Wild West. He sabotages the toys, locks up Jessie and Bullseye, and almost turns the ending into a full-on disaster movie. But karma, my friends, is faster than Buzz on turbo mode. In the end, Pete gets tossed into a little girl's backpack by airport staff. And guess what she's into? Barbie. And what does she do with Pete? Full-on makeover. Pete literally becomes a kiddie beauty salon project. And the most ironic thing? After that, he never showed up again. Gone. Vanished. The most likely outcome? That girl grew up, stopped playing, and left him on a shelf. But now he's art, a treasured piece of her childhood. In the end, Pete got what he wanted, to be remembered forever. Just not in the way he imagined. But hey, between staying sealed in a box and becoming a glittery, lash-enhanced Barbie remix, he kinda got the better deal. Years later, a post-credits scene from Toy Story 2 resurfaced and stirred up controversy. In it, Stinky Pete is caught in a cringy moment inside the Barbie box, hinting at inappropriate behavior. When Pixar re-released the film, they quietly cut the scene, especially after the wave of harassment scandals involving big names in the entertainment industry. Whezzy. Next up is a character you should all remember, and if you don't, get ready to feel guilty. Yep, we're talking about the one and only squeaky-voiced singer, Whezzy the Penguin. But Whezzy wasn't just any noisy toy. His squeaker was broken, his pride was shattered, and he was left to gather dust on Andy's shelf, just waiting to be sold off at the next yard sale. That's actually where everything started. When Andy's mom decides it's time to let him go, Woody kicks into rescue mode. And the best part? By the end of the movie, the guy's a full-blown showman, like he'd been secretly rehearsing on that dusty shelf the whole time. But after that, total silence. Toy Story 3? Nothing. Toy Story 4? Not even in the background. Whezzy just vanished from the universe, like he sang his final tune and slipped quietly out the back of Andy's room. There's a theory that Whezzy was actually a dog toy. That squeaker? Classic pet toy design. Andy probably used him to play with Buster, until the squeaker broke. So in the end, if Whezzy got donated again, he probably ended up with someone who assumed he was just a chew toy for their dog. Mr. Spell. And now, the next missing Toy Story character, Mr. Spell. Remember him? In Toy Story 1, he was the spelling champ with that retro digital screen, always ready to win a spelling bee and correct the gang's grammar. In Toy Story 2, he helps Buzz decode LZTYBRN like he's fluent in Morse code. But then he's gone. No dramatic goodbye. Pixar just acted like Mr. Spell never existed. So what happened to the greatest spell checker in toy history? The most accepted theory is that he was one of the toys donated to Sunnyside. Yep, the daycare ruled by Lotso. Later, maybe he got taken home by Bonnie. Mr. Spell is probably still alive, intact, and chilling in Bonnie's toy box, just waiting for someone to need help spelling something right. Before we get to the rest of the lost Toy Story toys, drop a comment below saying, character Chuckles. If there's one Toy Story character who vanished without a trace, it's gotta be Chuckles, the saddest clown in modern animation. Chuckles showed up in Toy Story 3 and gave us one of the most emotional backstories in the whole franchise. That painted-on frown and permanently gloomy face, he used to be one of Daisy's toys. But everything changed the day she forgot him at the park. When he tells this story to Woody and the gang, you can feel the weight of that heartbreak. It's impossible not to tear up. Then Toy Story 4 came along, and Chuckles? Poof, gone. No explanation. The clown disappeared like he wandered into the circus and forgot how to get out. So where did he go? Well, there are a couple theories. The most likely one? After the original voice actor passed away, Pixar chose to respectfully retire the character. Another theory? Maybe Chuckles went back to Sunnyside, now that it's been cleaned up and freed from Lotso's rule. Who knows? Maybe he's there sipping tea and helping run group therapy sessions for emotionally scarred toys. A sketch. The next character made a big impact and then disappeared just as fast. Remember Etch-a-Sketch? That's right, the drawing master, the sketch screen. In Toy Story 1, he was basically the team's security system, copier, printer, and artist all rolled into one toy. Woody needed a wanted poster? Etch would sketch it up in record time. In Toy Story 2, he came back strong, helping with the rescue mission. But then, Toy Story 3 rolled in, and what happened? Etch was gone. Thankfully, Pixar gave us an answer. They confirmed that Etch was donated between movies, which, at least, gives us some closure. Lenny. And speaking of characters who vanished in the blink of an eye, or more accurately, in the blink of a lens, let's talk about him. Lenny, the little blue binoculars. In Toy Story 1, Lenny was the surveillance expert. If Andy was coming, he was the one who called it. If something moved outside the window, Lenny was already on it. Laser focused. He was basically the team's secret agent. All he needed was an earpiece and a briefcase. In Toy Story 2, he even helped Buzz track Woody with pinpoint accuracy, proving he wasn't just a summer accessory. But then, well, Lenny straight up vanished. By the time Toy Story 3 came around, no Lenny. Not even as background decoration. The most accepted theory? He was probably sold at a garage sale between movies. Or, worse, boxed up and forgotten in the back of a closet next to an old iron and a dusty DVD. Let's be real, Lenny was super useful for a room full of toys, but maybe not the kind of toy Bonnie would bring out to the backyard. The most curious part? Pixar keeps throwing in little Lenny tributes in other films, like in Inside Out 2, where he helps sadness and joy. Rocky. Now, if you ever needed someone to lift a toy car with one hand and hold a kid's hand with the other, that someone was Rocky Gibraltar. Rocky was built like a pro wrestler. Chiseled muscles, serious expression, and the kind of vibe that made you think he could bench press Buzz in one hand and Woody in the other, while opening the front door with his foot. In Toy Story 1, he showed his worth. He helped the crew invade Sid's backyard and took part in the big rescue mission like a true tactical tank. And after that, he vanished from the franchise like he got hit with a folding chair and never got back up. The theory? He was probably donated or boxed up during Andy's big toy cleanout when everyone was bracing for the end. Zurg. Now, let's talk about a character who made one of the most epic entrances in Toy Story 2 and then became a total puzzle in the Pixar universe. Zurg, or as he was known for a whole 15 minutes, Buzz Lightyear's father. It was a bold and hilarious Star Wars reference, totally unexpected, and had everyone talking. But then, along came the Lightyear movie. And what did Pixar do? Threw the whole backstory in a blender and hit chaos mode. In this new film, Zurg isn't Buzz's dad anymore. He is Buzz. And in the end, that legendary Toy Story 2 moment got downgraded to a joke. Just an Easter egg. And worst of all, we never saw the original Zurg again after that. RC. Now let's talk about a four-wheeled legend who vanished from the franchise without even honking goodbye. RC, the most loyal remote-controlled car in toy history. RC came in strong in Toy Story 1, literally saving Buzz and Woody in an action scene worthy of a toy-sized Fast and Furious. In Toy Story 2, he made a few more appearances, always there when it was time to speed off, escape danger, or pull off some wild stunt. And then, radio silence. Time passed, and RC disappeared from the story. In Toy Story 3, he was completely missing. Then Toy Story 4 came around, and he did show up briefly. The gang rescues him in a quick scene, and just like that, gone again. Nobody knows for sure what happened to our little speedster. Was he donated? Lost his remote? Retired in a garage? Pixar never gave an answer. B.O. Peep. Now let's talk about one of the most unexpected, stylish, and empowering comebacks. Bo Peep. The porcelain shepherdess with 3 sheep and a leader's heart. Bo Peep appeared in the first 2 Toy Story films as a sweet, soft-spoken character. She belonged to Andy's little sister Molly and hung out near the lamp, always sharing glances with Woody and throwing in a flirty line here and there. But over time, Molly grew up and Bo ended up donated to a mysterious man. Nobody knows who he was or where he took her. Then, Toy Story 4 changed everything. During the wild hunt for Forky, Woody runs into Bo again, but she's transformed. No more porcelain skirt or dainty voice. Now she's a survivor and totally independent. The reunion scene is emotional. Woody remembers the day she was taken away, that rushed goodbye with no chance for a proper farewell. And now, standing right in front of him, is a whole new Bo. Stronger, freer, with a totally different outlook on life. She doesn't want to be tied down to a kid's room anymore. She's a free toy now, exploring the world, helping other lost toys, and proving that you don't need to belong to someone to have a purpose. In Toy Story, a lot of characters came and went without much of a goodbye, vanishing like they never existed. But each one of them left their mark, no matter how small. And if you're a fan of Bluey or animated shows, we've got 2 awesome videos you'll definitely want to check out. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.